Hi there, this is Dave Wilson with Studies Weekly. I just want to take a few minutes to walk you through some of the different things you can do with our online tool. Hopefully, by now you've become a little bit familiar with our newspaper version, which is incredible. But if you don't have a lot of experience with our online tool, hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight. So again, you can pause this at any time to kind of keep up with me if you like, or you can just watch and then after the fact just kind of go in and play around. So you're going to go to studiesweekly.com, just in any browser. We work on any browser. And then go ahead and click the login button right there. The username, you should have a username and password if you've already been registered with Studies Weekly, if you do have an account. If you don't have a username and password, and you've already purchased Studies Weekly, then you can click on down on the contact button and somebody can help you set that up. Because you do want to have your own username and password where you can go in and add your students and be able to track their progress and so on and so forth. For this purpose, I'm going to use a little demo account. And if you don't have an account at all with Studies Weekly, feel free to use this demo account just to play around with. This is not something you want to create classrooms with, because there are quite a few people that are using this exact demo account. So don't add any personal data here. But the username is CA Teacher is what you want to put for the username. And the password right now, and we'll change this in 3 months from now, but the password right now is the word reading, READING. We'll go ahead and click login. And so what you'll notice here on this demo account is you actually have access to look at all of our different publications. Our social studies K through 8 is actually here. And then we've got social studies in Spanish, just K through 6. And then down below, we have our science K through 6. So you're more than welcome to go in and preview and look at any of the publications. If you were to look at a particular publication, for example, let's go ahead and click on second grade. So one of the things you will see is you're going to see all the different weekly units are laid out right here on the screen. Now, some of them you can notice are out of order, and that's because you can actually click on this little 4-prong arrow and move these weeks around and put them in the order that you want to have your students follow. We know that everybody has their different curriculum map. So when you're sitting down with your colleagues, you can plan and just say, we want to teach these in a different order, and you can literally put these weeks in any order that you want to. And whatever order you stack these weeks in, that's the order the students will see it in when they log in. So just a couple things I want to bring your attention to here. So at the top, if you ever need to get back to the home screen, you can just click on this reading tab and it takes you right back to that home screen. So we'll go ahead and click back into second grade. If you ever want to look at the classes tab, you can click here, and this is where you have access to see all the different students that you have. You can actually add parent accounts. So you would see the student names, and you can add a parent. You can click on that, and it'll actually have you type in their name and email, and that's how the parents can log in and kind of view their students' progress. This reports tab is pretty neat because you can go in and see the last time your student logged in, their test scores, how many tests they've taken, so on and so forth. We have this PD training tab at the top, which is incredible and has a lot of resources in here. So if you want to take this a step further, I'm going to go pretty basic today, but if you want to take this a step further, you can view videos and PDFs and documents on everything from how to use Studies Weekly to different instructional strategies, and then to different student artifact activities. It's really kind of neat. So when you come in here, you can see there's everything from how to sign in and get started, how to unpack your box, little videos, how to manage classrooms, and create parent accounts like I just talked about. So there's really videos on almost all the different topics to really take this to the next level. Or you can go into the instructional strategies and see all these different types of teaching strategies you can use right in the classroom, like how to use a primary analysis tool, a display tray, the most important book. And so there's a lot of really good resources in here. And up here in the extras, you've got access to a lot of the interviews and different videos. These are some of our favorite videos up here. But in Studies Weekly, you have access to a library of thousands upon thousands of videos. So I'm going to go over here and click back into the reading tab. I'll go back into my second grade. Over here, you see this little button. You can actually enable or disable weeks. So if you don't want students to go ahead, you can turn the weeks on and off. If you really want to get a good in-depth view of what is covered in the weekly units, come down and click on Standards Correlations, click the View button, and now you not only see a headline of the week, but you see a really in-depth description of what each week is covering. So for example, week number 2 on being responsible, students will extend and refine their knowledge of rules and the consequences of breaking them, et cetera, et cetera. But you can also click on these links, which are the standards. Tells you what the standard is and that it's also covered in all those additional weekly units. So this is a good way to just get a really in-depth look at the standards that you're going to be covering. If you want to get a good look at the student edition just as the kids have it in their newspaper, you can click right here on the student edition view here, or actually, these are a little bit grayed out right now because they're coming soon for 2nd grade. So eventually you'll be able to click right here and see those student editions. We're uploading those right now. It's a brand new feature. But for now, just come down here and click on student edition. And this is exactly how the kids see it in the newspaper. And eventually when you click on here, you'll just be able to see just that week one at a time. Here you can see you've got a test you can turn on and off. You've got access to click and see the lesson plan. So if you're in week number 1, what is the lesson plan? Well, here you've got a nice detailed lesson plan. It shows you all the standards that are covered, a summary of the week's lesson. This week the students will learn about the Pledge of Allegiance and the proper way to take care of the American flag. They will discuss the importance of being honest, et cetera, et cetera. Here is a focus question, some different literature, suggested literature, some words that the students will learn throughout that week, words to know. And day 1, the suggested is about 30 minutes. This is just the cover, just page 1 of week 1 of the 2nd grade. Tells you what materials you'll need, what your learning objective is, and then you've got some different teacher tasks, and then sometimes there's going to be different differentiated instruction at the bottom there. So let's go ahead and click into week 2. If I click into that, show you some of the different functionality that you can do in all these weeks. Now, a couple things I want to draw your attention to. You'll notice that you probably saw right away that some of the words are highlighted. That's because you can actually go in and highlight or unhighlight. And the students can do this too, because all the students have their own account. So let's go ahead and unhighlight some of these. We have a lot of them highlighted just because we use this as a demo. But if you needed to highlight something, if they have a touch screen, they can just drag their finger or just drag their mouse. It pulls up a color palette. They choose a color. And then this one says, we have responsibilities. Maybe the question you ask them is, what is a responsibility? They can click in here and type in what they think a responsibility is. Something you have to do, or something like that. And they can save that. And again, it saves it to their account. You can come up here, click on highlights, and it'll tell you by name. Of course, this is a demo account, but it'll show you who has highlighted what and what their annotation is. Let's go ahead and click back on the articles. And one of the neatest things you'll see, I'm going to click this play button, and you're going to see something really cool here. I'll click play.
We have responsibilities at home and school.
Now, it's reading a little slow, and I'll tell you why.
Your
I've got a speedometer here. I've got it down at 0.85 speed. If I go to normal, it's going to be a little bit faster.
responsibilities. How are the rules
I can speed it up,
like the rules at home?
or go all the way down to 3/4 speed. But I'm going to play that again because I want you to notice that is not a robot voice. Listen closely.
We have responsibilities at home and school. What are some of your responsibilities?
So I hope you notice that is not a robot voice. That is a human voice. We hire human voice actors who have recorded every single one of our 40,000 plus articles. And you can speed that voice up or slow it down. You can listen to this over and over again. You'll also notice that there's a picture. That is the same picture that they're going to see on the front cover of the 2nd grade of week number 2. But here, what I can do, look at this. If I click on this, you see what it does? It brings that picture up to the foreground, and it kind of grays everything out. So what I might do if I'm in a room full of second graders is before I read the article, I might bring that up and actually have them talk about this picture. Kids, what do you see? What's going on in this picture? What is this little boy doing? Why is he happy? It seems like he's got a little towel in his hand. He's got a plate. It looks like he's cleaning the dishes. He's being responsible. So you can actually go through and do that with every single one of the pictures that we have in there. You click on it and it brings it up to the foreground. I really like that. Over here, if you want to have because there's a lot going on this page. Sometimes kids' eyes kind of wander at what else they can do on the page. So you can actually click here to enter into what we call reader mode. And it kind of takes everything off their eyes and it focuses their eyes just on what's on the page.
How are the rules at school like the rule?
You'll also notice, and I don't know if any of you use Google Classroom. If you do, we have an integration to Google Classroom, so you can actually click on this link. First, it would have you sign into your Google Classroom, but then you can share and assign this out to your classroom. So you can do that with our tests. You can do that with the articles, with the primary source videos. Everything we have in there, you can assign these things out. You can share them to their Google Classroom. We even have a star rating where you can actually go in and rate the article. This is for teachers. So if you don't like how this is written, if there's a spelling error you notice, or if maybe you just don't like the article at all, you can actually give this a rating and come in and give us this feedback. And we take that very seriously. So please, if you do have some feedback, please share that with us through this rating system, and then we'll take a good look at that. You'll also notice that there's a video. So because this is the beginning of the week, the first article, there's an intro video. This one happens to be about Helen Keller. And I can also speed up and slow down the reader on the video.
Helen Keller was born in Alabama in 1880.
But if I click in here, you'll notice this button says bonus sources. So I can click into that bonus sources, and it's going to not only have that video, but I've got all these additional resources that are here. And again, I've got that Google Classroom link that are just related just to this article, doing homework, for example. And I can click back to the articles there. So, and then when you're done with that article, you come right back and you go to the different articles, just like turn the page, or you can click next here and it goes to the next article. And a lot of them will have different bonus source content. So for example, rules and laws, I've got a whole bunch of bonus source content for rules and laws, again, different videos and different images that you can take a look at there. And below every article, you're going to notice these easy, medium, and hard questions. So they go in and read the article. What would it be like, or what would the world be like if there are new rules or laws, et cetera, et cetera. And down here, they can come down and read what is a synonym for laws. Now, these are already answered because it's the student or the teacher version. But if I want to clear that out as a teacher, I can click Clear Progress. And that way, if I've got multiple classes, now I want to show this to the next group. Oh, I got to refresh that, sorry. I want to show that to the next group. Come down here, now those questions are not answered. Now you'll notice that they can earn coins. For every single question they answer, they can earn up to these coins. They can get 10 coins per answer or per question. If they answer that correctly, they can get the full 10 coins. If they answer it incorrectly, it goes down to 5 coins, and then it goes down to 3, and then down to 1. And they can use those coins. We have several different games that they can play, 2 different games that they can play on their account where they can actually use those coins to buy things in their game. For example, they get a virtual rat cage where they can go in and decorate their rat cage. And there's all these different things they can buy in their rat cage, but they need the coins to buy things. And in order to get the maximum amount, they want to make sure they really read these and understand it before they just start answering the questions. So going down a little bit further, here are my standards that are covered in this particular weekly unit. My social studies, my ELA standards, my ELD standards. I've got, here's a lesson plan. That's where I saw it from the beginning. Here's my content videos. I've got different content videos. Those are just the ones that go along with just this particular week. And I've got worksheets. So for example, here's one. Let's see, this is a responsibility flip book. Let's see what it looks like. And you can turn that if you need to. Fold this worksheet in half lengthwise, hot dog style, so that the printed boxes are on the top side, et cetera, et cetera. It gives you all the instructions. Here's a weekly literacy connection. The vowels in the alphabet are A, E, I, O, and U. And it just has a little activity form there. Or here is the weekly assessment. This is the pen and paper version. So if you just want to have them just fill it on a piece of paper. Or if you come here to the top, just click Edit Test, and here's the online version. And again, you've got that Google Classroom everywhere. You can turn this. This is how you would turn that test on or off. You can click to randomize it, so it puts all the questions and answers in a different order. I can edit or delete a question, or I can add my own. And if you click Add Question, you've got all these different types of questions that you can add. So if I did like a multiple choice, for example, I come in here, I say what the question is. It's got a little kind of a little editor, so you can have your text be bold or whatever. Type the answers and add that question. And if you completely change this around for one or two students, you can print that out for them. And then you can click here to reset that back to its original format. And then once they've taken the test, you click Test Scores. It's going to show them all of their different scores. So by student, you can allow them to take a retake if they need to. If there are any short answer questions, it will tell you that you've got additional questions that you have to grade. So this one has one additional one. Come down and find it. Looks like there's my short answer one, or open response, and then I can add my comment, what my comment is here, and then I can save that and mark correct or incorrect. And then if you want to come up and just search for any of our bonus source content, this is where you do that up here. So for example, if you were to type in interviews, which we have a lot of our interviews right there, just click search. But we've interviewed a lot of people, including like World War II vets, Vietnam vets, Holocaust survivors, Japanese internment survivors. The list goes on and on and on. Come down here to videos, and these are just some of them because they're not all categorized under interviews. But you could come in and click, like for example, this one on when the war ended. This is a World War II vet talking about his experience on what he felt when hearing that the war had ended. So I'll just show just a few seconds, and then you can come in and watch this on your own. But this just gives you an idea. You can download the videos.
The best moment for me in the war was when we were out on patrol. It was a 6,000-yard patrol. We were to go out, bivouac, and come back the next day. And while we were out, we had a 300 radio with us, and they called us up and said the war was over.
And I'll let you watch that later. It's only about 50 seconds long, but there's just so many good videos in there. And virtually any topic you can think of, type it up, and we've got thousands upon thousands of videos. Anyways, I hope this has been helpful. Hopefully this has given you a little bit more direction. If you haven't been using the online tool, please get in there and play around with it. Check out the PD training tab. Watch this video, share it with other people. But if you do have any questions, you can always come in here where it says getting started. And at the bottom, there's a chat button where it says chat with us. That if you get stuck anywhere, click on that, and you can click the chat button. And our chat team is in Utah, and they're there, I think from about 8 in the morning Mountain Time to about 6 in the afternoon Mountain Time. So they should be there when you're there if you need anything, and they're very responsive to get back and help out with anything you need. So anyways, thanks for taking the time to watch this. Hope this has been helpful, and have fun using Studies Weekly.